Hello and welcome along to Breaking News Live Reaction Podcast, which is what that intro was actually made for. And the normal podcast intro, which is only about 8 seconds because Scott complains every time, but I like that one better. Anyway, hello and welcome along. I'm Martin and I'm joined by Cammy, John and Bryan. Guys, hello, welcome. Just before we get into it, because I know that John has researched everything on these two teams, so we don't even need to talk. We do now have a membership if you would like to join the Rangers Rabble on YouTube. You'll get custom emojis and all that sort of jazz. Plus, we'll be giving you live podcasts strictly for members and Q&As and your chance to come on the podcast as well. So if you fancy helping us out, head over and click the join button. I think it's just down there. Anyways, right, so Rangers today have been drawn against either Malmo or Helsinki. Not going to lie, guys, it probably wasn't the draw that I wanted. John, what's your reaction?
Without going, I kept saying this to my mates, without going full Rio Ferdinand, I don't care which one of these teams we get. I'm very, very comfortable on what I know about both teams. See, just from my betting podcast, these are leagues that we've had to keep in touch with over the summer because they're two leagues that are actually actively running. Both leagues are really, really poor standard, so I wouldn't look into anything about both these teams being the leaders in those leagues. They are the standouts in the leagues. It's as simple as that. These leagues are all upside down. Like, I think everyone in your head, I'm guilty of doing it. When you hear Swedish leagues, you still think of Gothenburg. You're like, all right, I wonder where they are. They're always like a struggling mid-table side. Malmo are the strongest team in the league, but the league is really, really weak. I actually watched the Malmo game about 6 weeks ago because there's a Scot abroad playing in goal for Örebro, who are the worst team, and they ran them close. They won in the last 5 minutes, created very little against a really, really poor side who have lost 7 games on the bounce. So from what I've seen of them, I'm not impressed at all. If it was a one-legged tie in Malmo or Helsinki, I'd maybe be a wee bit more nervous just on the odd occasion what a one game could do. But both these teams don't travel well. They get a lot of draws, they concede a lot of goals. I think this is nothing but us going through comfortably. Most of the work being done on the Ibrox leg.
I so hope you're right, by the way, because I did notice in their previous game, because I know you guys always have a go at me for not doing any research. Well, I did Google Malmo, right? So I done a wee bit of research. I did notice that I think they struggled in their first qualifier. I can't mind who it was against because my research isn't that good. But just before I come to you, the rest of you guys, Michael Sharon, thank you so much. I know it's not the nicest colour in the world, but thank you so much, Michael. And can I just say as well, the response we've had to these memberships has been absolutely mind-blowing. So I just want to say thank you very much. And I should also just say while I'm here, that the money that's given from the memberships is none of it goes towards any of the guys on the pod. It's all to make the pod better, and we want to help support RYDC and the former Rangers Players Benevolent Fund. And we might, and I don't want to give away too much, but we might have a wee live show coming later on, Cammy. But anyway, that's for a later date. Cammy, your reaction?
I feel so much better having heard John's positivity. So I was very much, that's not the tie that you would want. But when you do take a step back and you listen to what John's saying, you don't turn the Swedish and the Finnish league into the Bundesliga and the English Premiership. Yeah. If Rangers play at the Rangers that is capable of, particularly in Europe, we should progress over these two ties. But I think it's probably a higher standard than we will have been used to potentially in these qualifiers and this early in the season. But it's a good tie. It's a winnable tie.
We've got a comment from Gone. Right, Bryan, we'll just call him Gone. Got to be happy with the draw if we apply ourselves in the proper frame of mind. So am I doing the usual negative build up to a European game that we see Malmo, we see how far into the leagues they are, and Michael will come to your comment in a wee second, but should we be confident about these ties?
I think when you see the opposition that we've played in the last couple of seasons, like the Benficas, the Standard Lieges, the Warsaws, the Portos, they don't... the Helsinkis and all these guys don't even rank close to them. So, to be quite honest, I think we should be winning this tie quite comfortably, in all honesty.
Let's hope, but I mean, European football never ever works out like that. We're very own Wilf. You know how football works. We got Alfie from HJK, so we'll be playing them. Just on that game, I suppose, John. I think 99% of us expect Malmo, but can you see an upset for HJK in that game?
No, not really. Not on what I've looked at. So looking at HJK, right? If we take them first, because those are probably the team that I don't expect to go through in this tie. They're the ones that seem to be, if you watch them, so they lost to bottom of the table at the weekend. But if you look at the lineup, they changed their whole starting 11. So they're putting all their eggs in this Malmo basket, hoping that they can get through to the next round of the Champions League and play us, because there is still money for the Finnish league, which is really, really poorly funded for them to make money here. Riski and Valencic are the two strikers getting most of the goals, and Jair is a Brazilian playmaker who's played most of his league in the Nordics. If you scupper Jair, he's the one they move around a lot. So they fleet between this 4-4-2, 4-4-1-1 and a 3-4-2-1 with Jair and Valencic playing behind Riski. So they do change their formation a lot depending on who they're playing. I expect in the Champions League they'll go that 4-3-2-1 if we have to face them. They'll have the extra centre-half. They're really weak aerially in their box, which is it's the thing I think it's turned me on a little bit looking into this, is we get a lot of goals from, we get a lot of goals. We get a lot of goals from corners, crosses.
Yeah, we do.
Goldson and centre halves going up. You've got a choice of Roof, Itten. I don't know what Morelos' situation is. I thought he had to quarantine, but Messi's on a holiday somewhere in Spain. So I'm going to say they don't have to quarantine, that footballers are still exempt from this. Scotland might be different, but Spain seem to be pretty strict. I just think from where we get most of our goals, where we punish teams, something I think I pulled out the stat, they lose 62% of their aerial battles from crosses in their own third. That's a shit ton to be given away to us, with the likes of Morelos, Roof, Itten getting in the box, getting up for set pieces with Goldson, Helander, Balogun. I can't see us not punishing these teams, even if they're structured well. If they give away enough fouls, I can see us getting enough crosses in the box where we will score from a better delivery. That being said, I comfortably think Malmo are the team that goes through, and their dangers are clear. It's Anders Christensen, who was in the Danish Euro squad, plays 10. He's similar to Hadji in the sense that everything going forward is beautiful, but he's very weak defensively, and we can catch him out and make that extra man count in midfield. They'll play a 4-2-3-1, so they'll have two sitters behind him. We'll dominate possession around him because he doesn't offer a lot. He tires when teams keep possession against him. In the Swedish league, that's not been a problem because they do dominate possession. And their striker, Serbian striker Kolac, is their main threat, top scorer this season. But again, I think Goldson's got enough to deal with him. A weakness at the back for them is Al Medhadzic, who's a Serbian centre-half. He's similar to what I was saying about O'Shaughnessy for Helsinki, loses a lot of his aerial battles. He's very good in possession with the ball, though. However, he will not have played against anyone with the type of pressing trap from a Ken, a Roof, our midfielders, the way we like to get on the ball and push people in. There'll be traps set for them. I would leave him with the ball, and I think that's what we'll try and do, is we'll leave him the ball, set traps, out of possession, gives away a lot of fouls, gets a lot of yellow cards. If Morelos is fit, available back from quarantine, I can see that being a bit of a fight, and I think that'll be the way it goes. But again, I've absolutely no doubts about us getting through either of these teams. The away game might be a bit trickier, just with us still kind of progressing through pre-season. But the Ibrox tie, I think, will really take care of itself. I don't want to be overly confident, but just based on the way Scout and what I've seen from these teams in games that I've watched, I just can't see them causing us too many problems. Malmo concedes so many goals away from home. Helsinki are a bit tighter, but they're in a lesser league. Malmo have conceded 9 goals in 12 games away from home. That to me I would take that all day long. Coming to Ibrox, a team that concedes more than a goal a game.
John, can I get your Y-Scout sign-in details?
I don't know if I think it's like literally limited to one app, like one application. I could go gold. I could go gold member, but silver was enough, mate. Silver was expensive enough.
Right, Cammy, top that with your stats about the two teams in. Talk with Joyce.
From a Rangers point of view, the aerial situation, I think we're going to be missing Balogun, obviously, for the first leg, and Roof's obviously suspended. But I do take on board, and I think that was something, a major positive from the game at the weekend. we scored the 2 goals from the set pieces. Good delivery, particularly the second goal. As I shared with you, Martin, why is Glenn Middleton going all the way across there to take that corner was Wilf Marshall's comment to me, and we did have a chuckle when the ball hit the back of the net, sort of thing, But I think you get Tav firing, and you get Borna back. Plenty of great delivery into the box. It's about what we do. We do have players that are going to be missing, that are going to be big misses, Kamara and Roof particularly. But the squad depth should still be enough, on the assumption that Alfie manages to make it back. I would say probably within the next week or so.
Can I just say a big thank you? And I don't know why they make it this colour, right? I can only apologise to people watching, but a big thank you to Arnold Ford as well, who's just became a member. Really do appreciate any help and support that we can get. I want to go back to Michael. Bryan, he says, what stage of the season are these teams at? Anyone know? Now, that could be, I suppose, the kind of only sticking point if you take, because, I mean, John's made me feel as if Rangers are going to win the Champions League. But they're both kind of, what would you say, a quarter of the way into their seasons?
That's exactly it, yeah. Quarter of the way into the season, but I wouldn't look into that too much, to be honest. I mean, Midgetland were banging their season when we played them, and I think we kind of surprised people how well we done against them. I know that came a few weeks later into our campaign, and we did a few European ties already, but I wouldn't look too much into that. I still wouldn't bother. I have to just say though, because I know how popular this show is worldwide, that Polak is Croatian and Ana Hadzovic is Bosnian, not Serbian. I don't want to offend.
We are massive. We are massive in Croatia, by the way.
Exactly. So
I looked up the stats, and 3.9% of our I don't know what you want to call it, but viewership, that's the one, goes out in Croatia. So hello to all our Croatian friends. But Bryan, does that worry you, the fact that they are 12 games into their season, both sitting top of the league? What is it? Malmo by 4, Helsinki by 6?
Yeah. No, I think what John's saying is absolutely spot on. I mean, their leagues aren't as strong as ours, I would say. No, I'm not really concerned at all. I mean, it's just, as Cammy was saying, if we get the wide guys going, the Barisics and the Taverniers, and them firing the crosses in, by the law of averages, we're going to hit a few of the crosses where we want them, and they'll come off quite the thing. So no, I'm not at all bothered. I mean, when the draw came out, the only sort of tie I was sort of half thinking, that'll be quite difficult, would be the Ferencvaros one. But no, when that draw came out, I was quietly confident. And then when John said what he was coming out with, I thought, well, that's made me even more confident. So
you know that if Rangers now lose, everybody
it'll be my fault. Yeah.
No, find out where John stays, because he's made us all too confident. Right, look, we're going to have live reaction on Wednesday and a podcast on Thursday. So RFC 55, please don't ask questions like this. I think Alfie and Goldson want away. If that's the case, we need to get as much money as we can within the next 4 to 5 weeks. We'll come to that on Thursday. Cammy, don't even get started on it, pal. Right? I can see that look in your eye. But we will come to that. We will come to that on Thursday. Cammy, is there a slight worry of, I think it's been mentioned, a few players are going to be missing, namely Kamara, Roof, or if we kind of bridge that gap, we're bringing in the likes of Lundstrom and possibly Veerman?
I think also Zakala is that's probably.
Oh, you've said the word. Oh, John's going to go now.
That's him obviously competed his first week of training. I think we may see him on Wednesday night, potentially off the bench. I think he'll certainly get more minutes. So he could potentially get 45 minutes on Wednesday night. He could get 45 minutes on Saturday, 45 minutes on Sunday. He'll just be built up in the same way. Veerman, I don't know. I think that could be a transfer that might take a wee bit longer. But I think Lundstrom coming in, I think if we get our strongest starting 11, or as close to our strongest starting 11 on the pitch for the 2 games, as much as some players will be in better and sharper physical condition than others, I try to focus on the positive rather than the fact that we've known for the last 4 months that Roof and Kamara were going to be missing these ties. So I'm sure preparations will be And hopefully we've got Aribo and Kent back into the mix over the next 3 fixtures as well.
And listen, RFC 55, I was only kidding on. I think maybe if we run out of things to talk about the draw for 5 minutes, I think we might get to that wee Goldson, because me and Cammy were on the phone for about 45 minutes talking about Goldson. Again, we've got West Belfast loyal. Malmo about 12 games into the season is the only concern. I think that could be a concern for a lot of supporters, the fact that we're free by the time it comes 4 pre-season games in. We're playing a pre-season game Saturday and Sunday, which confuses the life out of me. I kind of get it, but it's just stupid. So you've already spoke so well and put us all at ease, put the fans at ease for the fact that they've had 12 games and we haven't.
Yeah, but they did drop European football for 4 weeks. Like, European football still, competitive football still stopped during the Euros, so it was all friendlies they were playing during the Euros. And if you look at them since they've come back, it's been a couple of draws and a lot of single goal wins and a defeat in there as well. So it has been, when there is an international tournament, it's more disruptive than it is beneficial to be in there. Most of the players will have kept sharp, but they will have lost maybe that wee bit of match sharpness. I just can't see this. You've seen my opinion on the pre-season friendlies and the way people react. It's an absolute nonsense, man. Like, this is what happens. I kept saying this. Look back at Walter Smith years. This is why he went away and played 17th division German football and won single goal victories to get people fit. These are bleep tests. These are nothing more. These games on Saturday, even ignore Blackpool. These games on Saturday are where we'll see where we actually are at, and I can't see us in 2 weeks' time not being ready, raring to go, beating Livingston and then flying into these qualifiers, taking care of either team.
But see, to be honest with you, John, Blackpool is essentially our European qualifier second round. So we're just playing a one-off tie at Bloomfield Road, and there's going to be like 10,000 Rangers fans there. So it's essentially a European tie.
If only it was Blackpool in the Champions League draw. Question for our good friend Scott: is Hollander ex-Malmo? I'll throw that out to anybody. Do we know? Because John, come on, you do your research. Is Hollander ex-Malmo?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I've just did a quick look there. Yeah, so it was Malmo to Verona, then Bologna. Yeah, so he is ex-Malmo. So there we go. We've got a wee connection.
We've got a mole.
There we go.
Right. So final question on this, and then we'll have a wee tiny quick discussion about Goldson. For all three, I'll start with you, Bryan. The draw's been made. Are you confident?
Yeah, 100%.
That's a fantastically short answer for a podcast. Cammy?
Play it as we can in Europe. We will progress.
John?
Yeah, I think it's comfortable. I actually think we win both legs. I don't think there's an issue with this. Win both legs, go through confident, and get us on the run to the Champions League group stages.
Well, William is doing the comments on YouTube, and apparently he was born in Malmo. So there you go. He's actually born there. Well done. Right. I should actually say, and I should have started with this, and I apologise that I didn't. We done our match reaction after the Arsenal game, and we didn't get to see Gerard's comments. And obviously, it came out that in the fitness test for Offerbore, there was slight heart concerns. So obviously, everybody at the Rabble, I don't need anybody to speak. It's just simply everybody at the Rabble will be sending my best wishes, and we hope he gets fit, and we hope that there is nothing too serious. We've got a question for Cammy. Can I have that Rangers top in the frame?
What one? There's 3 of them.
I tell you what, we'll become a member. Become a member. No, I'm just joking. Don't become a member because you won't get the top. Just become a member. You're not getting the top. Right, Cammy, we had a big discussion about this. There's been to and fro on Twitter, fans arguing. You put a poll up, got fans arguing. Is Connor Goldson going to sign his new contract? And if he doesn't, should we keep him or sell him?
Listen, you all know my thoughts on Connor Goldson. You know, I think he's integral to the way that we play, leader, all that sort of situation. I do believe in time he will sign an extension. I just think the fact that it's taken so long and there's been so little chat about it. I think Jordan Campbell has obviously somehow got some sort of inside knowledge with regard to Rangers being quite content, which makes me think that conversations have been had. Rangers are quite comfortable that in the fullness of time, he will sign a contract extension. If not, and he helps us retain the title and automatic Champions League football and leaves for free next summer, we then have the carrot of £30-40 million for TV revenue. So I think that's potentially the way the club are looking at it. It's a bit against the business model as we talk about. It's not really the way that we want to let players run into the last year of their contract. But I think at this present time, I think people will use the proposed transfer of the other centre half going down to Brentford. And that figure, I don't think we would get anywhere close to that figure for Connor Goldson this summer because of his age and the fact that there's no sell-on value. How much would it cost for us to replace Connor Goldson this summer? Is it worth taking the hit and letting him stay, and then hopefully over the course of the season he extends? So I don't know if that actually answers the question, but
you skirt round it very well. You should be a politician.
It's not a bad idea, actually. I think he'll still be a Rangers player come the 1st of September. I don't see him moving on. I really hope he is, because it would be massive. It would be a massive loss to the way that we play, that we've set up. He's the centre half that starts the play off and what have you, So I think he's one that we definitely don't want to lose, and I do believe he'll still be a Rangers player.
Question for Stuart Keane, John. This might come down to us qualifying for the Champions League for him to sign a new deal. Do you think there's any truth in that? The fact that this is dragging on, or it's too many different extenuating circumstances? I had to get that one done.
He's not going anywhere this year, so it's irrelevant. I actually don't mind. Like, if he comes next season, gets us into Champions League automatically, and then goes off to the Premier League or somewhere in the Championship and gets good money, good riddance. He can go and enjoy himself. We've reaped the benefit of his best years. I'm more than happy for him. We're not selling him. Put it that way. He's here for the next year, irrelevant of what happens. We're not selling Connor Goldson. As Cammy said, there's no value there to sell him. The value is in keeping him and winning the league and getting the £35 million Champions League spot. So Connor Goldson goes nowhere, and if he sees down his deal and leaves, then we will all wish him well, because he's pretty much returned us back to where we needed to be. He's been the mainstay, like no missed a game. So yeah, he's the one where there'd be no ill feelings if he doesn't want to sign a deal and just run it down. He can go with his head held high, but he's not going anywhere this year. He's here for the rest of his contract.
Right, I get that, John. Right, but I know you can't take social media seriously sometimes, right? I get that. I totally get that. I'm not naive, but there's a lot of people on social media who are saying, if he doesn't want to sign a new deal, just sell him. So what do you say to the people with that kind of mindset?
We don't have a Connor Goldson sitting there. We don't have it. He's our best centre half. He's the vice captain, so he's clearly one of the leaders in that changing room. Everyone loves him. You can see by the way McGregor respects him. He's the one player, for as much a head case as McGregor is, I don't think I've ever seen McGregor shout at Goldson on a pitch. So he's the one player that is the clear respect of the other captains in that changing room. He goes nowhere. He is pivotal to everything we do on a player relationship level and the style of play. He goes absolutely nowhere. Not a chance. No, I don't understand. If it was a young player, if it was Barisic, Kamara, where there's a clear motivation for us to get money for them and not run down their deal, then you need to get rid of him. Connor Goldson's not that. He's way more valuable to keep than he is to get £3 million for.
What about yourself, Bryan? Where do you stand on this?
Yeah.
Try and have a different opinion so we can have an argument. Just make it up. Go.
No, I'd like to have a different opinion, but no, I'm very much the same. I can't. I think it would be catastrophic if he left any time before the start of the season. As you said, he's vice captain. He's the linchpin of the back four. He keeps everybody together. I would, as you say, I'd rather keep him for the rest of the season, get us into the Champions League, and then if he wants to leave, then thanks very much. But no, I think he's far more valuable to us to stay than he'd be far a greater loss to us to go.
Just on that, and see people who come on and comment on YouTube, can I have names that I can pronounce, please? Vivisperandum. That's a mouthful. How often does the running down of the contract work well? Remember Lowdrop in 97, 98. Cammy, Goldson doesn't strike me as that type of player, right? Goldson strikes me as the type of guy that even if he hated the manager and hated every player he was playing with, he would still give 100%. But there is that. Is there possibly that worry? He's not signed a new deal. He's only got a year to go. That he might not give his all.
I understand the comparison, but that failed 10 in a row season was a complete car crash from very early on. Walter Smith announced, or Walter Smith was told that his contract wasn't going to be extended at the end of that season. Marco Negri and Sergio Perino had a squash match that didn't end up the way that we wanted it to. Gaza left in the March. So I understand Lowdrop wasn't at the level that he had been in the previous 3 or 4 seasons, but how we even managed to get to the latter stages of that season. I mean, it's a joke that we never won 10 in a row that season, given the players that we had, but there was so much going on. I do understand the comparison, but I have full faith in Connor Goldson and the relationship he has with the manager and the commitment. The fact that he plays every single game. I mean, I was disappointed that he went off at the weekend. You know, I mean what's that all about? He's letting his standards slip. You know, but I think I don't have any concerns about Connor Goldson. He would be 100% the consummate professional and leader that he is.
I mean, we could go off on a tangent and have the Lowdrop debate if you want, but I know that John only gets an hour for his lunch break, so I won't go down that road. Where do you sit with that, John? Obviously, some fans will worry that look, he's in the last year of his contract. What if it gets to January and he's got a move lined up? He doesn't want that injury. Blah 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 blah. Where do you stand with that?
Nah, he doesn't go anywhere. Doesn't get allowed to go anywhere. The only way we'd ever get allowed to go in January is if we have royally fucked up our season in some way, and that we are trailing Celtic in a position where he wants out as quick as possible. I don't see any of this happening. I think our plan is, I think we discussed it before, is Katic goes and gets games somewhere else. Katic takes over for Goldson next year, and Goldson goes to somewhere where he can make some money down in England. I think that's what's happening here. And as long as it goes to plan and we win the league and we get to the Champions League group stage both years, all aboard.
I'm just seeing, I don't know if this is breaking news or not. I don't know if any of you can confirm this. The Blackpool friendly fixture has been cancelled. If there is anybody in the comments or anybody watching who can maybe give us an indication of why, because it's very difficult to host a podcast and check stuff at the same time.
Rangers have just tweeted, and that's all they've said. Blackpool friendly fixture cancelled, just as my ticket arrived this morning.
I wonder then why that is. Anyway, look, we don't have time to get into all that. Oh, right, okay, we're hearing a COVID outbreak. Now, is that for Rangers or is that for Blackpool?
Blackpool have got several players tested positive for COVID, and it's been made the decision that Rangers will not send a squad. Makes sense.
Yeah, total sense. I just wonder if Rangers will try and pencil in then, Bryan, another game before the Brighton and Real Madrid games.
Maybe, or they'll just leave the 2 fixtures as they are, or maybe try and get a lower team to play the first team. I don't know. It's a bit out of the blue, that one, isn't it?
It is, but on that note, gents, we're going to have to leave it there, because if I don't, I think John's going to reach through the computer screen and punch me square in the face. Listen, thank you guys for coming on it. Oh, Brian's not happy about something.
No, it's all right. No, it's okay. All right.
Thank you for coming on at short notice. Thank you, everybody in the comments. Again, if you're watching, please do subscribe and like. If you fancy supporting the podcast, you can all join and become a member, and you can see videos that are for members only, live shows, etc., etc., etc. So thank you very much for tuning in. We're going to see you for match reaction on Wednesday, but now the guys have got a break, unless, of course, a fixture is released. Failing that, we will see you on Thursday. So until then, take care and thank you for watching.